Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the RacePlazaMedia podcast. And this weekend, we watched some two-wheel racing and then also some four-wheel racing.
Yes.
Let's get right into it. We're going to first start talking about MotoGP.
Of course, finally, the guys are back.
Yeah, so this weekend was at a new track.
Yeah, I mean, they came back to Brazil. They haven't been back to Brazil in like 22 years. It was an interesting track because the track looked quite short.
Yeah.
And the layout I thought was really interesting. From what they were saying, obviously the track was tricky because of the high degradation because it was so hot.
Yes. So I actually have I've gotten some more information about that.
Okay.
So first of all, leading up to the weekend, there was some flooding at the track. So there was a lot of rain, but then it wasn't because of the temperatures and the tire degradation that they ended up cutting the race short. It was because of the track itself, because it itself was kind of falling apart.
Oh.
And there's riders were also, and I don't know if this is also something that already came up during the sprint race, but like there's some riders that posted pictures of their fingers that were like, there was like blood and stuff like that because they were hit by pieces of the track. If you look it up, it is pretty bad partially. I think like one of the areas, where Marc Marquez in the main race like made a mistake.
Yeah.
This was because where the track was damaged,
Oh,
and so other
interesting.
riders, I think, who also had issues and made mistakes in that corner,
Yeah.
it was because of the track itself. So it wasn't the tires that were really the issue, because I think they already they said in like in the like post race interviews and stuff like that, they were talking about how like the tires would have lasted longer. But
Just
it's
the
the track
track.
itself that was deteriorating so badly.
is
So if you look it up, you can see the track, and I was like, this is pretty dangerous.
That
And I
is.
think they were really lucky also that like there was no big injuries. We had
Yeah.
some people like fall off the bike.
Yeah.
But fortunately no one really got injured. But that is really, really bad, to be
That's
honest.
horrible. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've also talked about it because we were a little bit frustrated about that they were racing in the middle of the day when it was so
Yes.
hot and the track temperature was so high.
Yeah.
But then you made the argument, of course, which makes so much sense, that it was still a good time because it was midday in Brazil and midday here also in LA, but it was like still watchable in Europe at
Yeah.
the time because it was not too late yet, obviously depending on where you are, but it was still like accessible.
Yeah.
And you also made the argument that there's probably, we haven't looked up this fact yet,
Yes.
but we would assume that majority of MotoGP fans are located in Europe.
Yes.
Or like a big chunk of it,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, there are MotoGP fans obviously all across the world, but I think also considering that majority of the riders are from Europe, it would make
Correct.
sense that a lot of
And
fans come from there.
I think it's kind of like F1 where it like also originated in Europe.
Yeah.
And then we have a lot of Europe races, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think they're like the main market where they center their races around.
Yeah.
Because it otherwise doesn't make any sense. Why would you race in the middle of the like heat,
Yeah.
Either race in the morning then or race in the afternoon or evening when the temperature has already come down.
Yeah.
Because you could see that.
Yeah. But then you can't really do the morning because usually there's lots of pre-show events and things like that. And so there's a certain amount of lead up time that needs to happen before you can even start the event because they have the national anthem. They have all this like opening ceremony usually on the race day. So
Start earlier, but like technically, I don't know. Well, there was Moto 2 and Moto 3 that weekend
Yeah.
too. But it is like, would have been a 10 a.m. race really impossible,
I think so.
Because it's like, I just think like maybe the morning was not possible. But I think if it wasn't for European probably viewers, it could have been definitely possible to do it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But if you would have done it too late in the afternoon, it would have been in the middle of the night for Europe. And then considering that it is like a Monday morning then
Yeah.
for people, they wouldn't be able to tune in.
Yes.
So it's,
So like it makes sense business wise.
yeah. I mean, I feel like
You
this is the
know?
closest we've gotten to actually watching a
Yes.
MotoGP race live.
Yeah, we've rarely watched it.
We ended up we
Excuse
ended
me.
up being a few minutes behind.
Yeah.
Due to us talking with our mom before that, but it was like almost we got to use the live timing
Yes.
feature.
That's so true,
It's
'cause
like,
this
God
year-
damn it, let me use it for once. We
'Cause
paid for it.
I know, because this year is the first time we did it. Because you always like to look it up for when we watch Formula One races.
Well, I didn't use it.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Because this year is the first time we actually bought.
Yeah.
To
Oh, yeah.
have
That's what I
that
meant. Like we fucking paid for
accessible.
this. Yeah.
And because you like to watch it, and it's interesting to follow it, and it would be something new for us to follow the MotoGP one. But I mean, it's the second race in, so that's why.
It is, but it is very interesting because the MotoGP, the way it works for them, it is different than F1, and I'm uncertain. I haven't fiddled around with it enough, but I'm uncertain if I actually like the MotoGP version of it, because with F1, I can just, if you are doing a 30 F1 TV app, I cannot speak for any of the other platforms, but you can have essentially, you can do like the multi-view, but you can have you can watch it on the TV, and then you can watch it have on your phone. You can have the data, but you can do this also once the race has happened. And I'm uncertain exactly how that works, the feature with MotoGP, because in MotoGP it strikes me that it's like live, and
Well-
you have to use it in a way separately because you don't use the same link.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I wonder. I mean, I guess you can try it out next weekend, because next weekend they're going to be in Austin. Austin. So we can try the live again, and then for another race, you can always try the. Because the tricky thing maybe was also because the race was still happening live as we were watching it. We were just behind, so I'm not sure if they have. Because I couldn't, like, you know how in F1 you also have the possibility in the F1 TV app, start from the beginning or go live. And for me, it only gave the option to go live, and then I had to rewind, which
Yeah.
is I'm glad that it was possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're still figuring it out. Obviously, if you guys know, if you've used the live timing before, let us know.
Yeah.
It's something new that we're playing with, or you specifically are playing with.
Yeah, it's just like looking at the like numbers. and
No,
stuff
I
like
think
that.
it's interesting. So I'm curious to see what kind of information you could get from it next time around. But going into the race, we talked about it briefly. The race itself was like, meh. It went by so fast. Like, I think it's a combination of also being a shorter track. They, of course, took away several laps, I think 8 laps. So it was a good amount shorter.
Yeah.
But even so, there was some fun battling happening, especially towards the end between Marc Marquez and Digi, going all the way until like really the finish line, which was really fun. But other than that, we didn't see too much battling.
It truly wasn't. It's a little unfortunate we didn't have time to watch the sprint race because we had this big thing where Jorge Martin got his first podium with Aprilia during the sprint race. That was really awesome. Sorry, I'm so distracted. I have this empty packaging of the light bulb right next to me that you put in, and everything in me wants to do the cat thing and just swipe.
Oh my god, you're so.
I was like, fuck off.
Just put it on the floor.
I know, but it's like when you see a can on the floor outside, and all I want to do is just kick it, you know?
Well, I left it there because I wasn't sure if we actually are using the light bulb. So I was like, let me hold on to it in case we're not going to use it.
I put it on the floor because I feel like at some point I would have
That's
like,
funny.
maybe if I would have gotten angry about something, I was like, it would have been a good feeling though.
That would have been funny. But the one thing I wanted to point out, which we had already talked about, what I really loved, the Aggressini special livery for the race.
I saw online they called it Grinini.
Grinini, oh, I love that.
Grinini, yeah, Grinini.
Grinini, yes, I like that. I mean, I thought it looked so great.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was inspired by, I don't know who exactly it was inspired by. I know they mentioned it briefly, but the colorway obviously matches the Brazilian flag.
Yeah.
And it also looked so great on the track because, of course, the track, a lot of the painted areas were either the yellow or that green, very specific green.
Yeah.
So it works so beautifully. And I thought the way they incorporated it onto the bike and especially also onto the suit worked really, really nicely. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was such a fun addition. And I mean, you could really easily spot them too because it stood out so much. And then I forgot if we talked about it last time, really, but I love the new Trackhouse livery.
Yes, that is
The
like
golf
yes, mm-hmm.
or golf sponsored
Yeah, absolutely.
outfit
It's so
now.
iconic.
It's so iconic. I mean, you had ended up looking it up that it's also like we had like a Le Mans Porsche that was in the same style with that baby blue and the orange stripe and stuff like that. And it looks clean and it looks like it stands out so much.
The thing about it is it's also a combination of colors that I usually would never approve because I don't think orange and like this baby blue is really a combination of colors. I think
I wouldn't wear it. I don't think.
No,
you
but
know?
I would wear like a Trackhouse golf like style
Like
shirt.
polo or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yes,
Or like
yes.
those like a retro like those pit cruise shirts
Oh,
like
yes,
back in the
yes.
day.
Yeah.
You know, if they had something like that, I would 100% wear
Yes.
that. But it is very, very cool livery.
Yes.
They did a really good job with it. And again, the Greenini is just very gorgeous.
Yes. And then speaking also of Trackhouse, which is like obviously it stands out so much, but now also because we have the Trackhouse riders, or at least for the first and this race, now we had them a little bit further in the front,
Let's fucking
especially
go.
Ayogura.
Yes.
So happy for him. I mean, he ended up coming in 5th, so close to the podium. I really hope that maybe he'll get an opportunity to be on the podium this year in MotoGP.
I think it could be possible.
I think so too.
I think with the like right circumstances, I think it is definitely possible. What I did want to say, speaking about liveries, right? Completely off-roading this conversation. We have the next weekend. We have the Suzuka race, right? And so we already looked at the Racing Bull special livery for Japan.
Excellent.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Excellent.
We did talk about it that I don't think it will translate maybe that well when watching because it is very fine detail, but I think it is still cool that they made the effort to do that.
Yeah, but I think you will see the Red Bull on it.
Yes.
It will stand out. And I think
Absolutely.
I think it has lots of nice touches to it, like the brush style writing of like different things on the thing. And it's I think it looks really, really fun.
I think this is also in combination with this specialty Red Bull drink, which is cherry blossom. And
yes, that
I'm
makes
pretty
sense.
sure I've tried it actually.
Oh yeah?
Yes, I've been like ever since our Supercross thing, I've been trying like different flavors
Ooh,
of.
I didn't know that. Yes.
Yeah. At work, sometimes when I'm like, okay, I need a little boost. I've tried different flavors, and cherry is usually not my go-to, but I didn't mind it. You know.
Yeah. I'm not an artificial cherry person, or
You're
I'm not
a big energy drink fan, anyways.
That
Seeing you at
especially.
Supercross was the funniest thing because we all got like a free monster. So
Monster.
it was you, me, and a friend of mine, and the friend of me, we were just like drinking it, and you look, you look like you were like holding something like. You're
like it's my ad.
Yeah.
the ad
it's
that I've-
clearly you're an influencer getting paid to hold this, you know.
Which I didn't
No,
get paid.
you know what the energy is? It's those CEOs trying their burgers for the first time.
Because I was so thirsty, but then every sip I took of it, I was like, "Ugh."
Because it's not particularly hydrating because it's so in German you say pap.
Yeah.
Yes, it's paps.
Yeah, pappig, yeah.
So it's
It's like
süß.
sticky.
Yeah, it's so it is like I would never drink an energy drink to like rehydrate myself.
No.
You definitely need water with
Yes,
that, you know?
yes.
Or maybe I've never had an energy drink that gives me that. But if I drink a Red Bull, it
Yeah.
is for the energy, not because I'm parched.
Yes, no,
You
for
know?
sure. And I don't drink energy drinks like
Not at all. And I
Yeah.
do think Monsters, especially the ones that are can't remember if they were sugar free, the ones that we had.
I think so,
I
yes.
think I always thought that Monster was way more intense in flavor, whereas Red Bull has like a little bit
it
less.
has a very specific flavor.
Both
and
of them have
smell,
very
though.
specific flavors.
Yeah.
I use it in my youth, in my early 20s. I definitely drank a lot more Monster just because it was more bang for your buck.
Oh, there.
And but now I do tend to drink more Red Bulls. But in the end, I will drink the most that sponsors us.
Oh, there we go.
Just kidding.
But yeah, I mean, we did get a little bit off topic, whatever.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But I mean, yeah. So like we were saying, I think the race was fine. We had some nice battling on the track. Yes.
One thing I also wanted to say that I found out, because they really last minute, they kind of said that they're doing 8 less
Yes, I mean, it was
laps.
literally while they were already on the
It,
grid, I
and
think.
exactly, and then some people were a little bit upset that they didn't let the teams then change the tires,
Yes.
because there was only a few that actually went for the hard soft compound, where the majority went for the hard medium compound, which I think in the long run might have been more beneficial, or
Yeah.
I think a lot of people might have actually ended up doing the switch. So it's a little bit unfortunate the way this was handled.
Yeah, and it's also like, obviously, if you plan on racing 32 laps, you have a strategy mapped out
Exactly.
until the 32nd lap. You know,
Yes.
like it's so specific.
Yeah.
In terms of tire degradation, fuel, all of those things. So then to switch it last minute and to not give the teams an opportunity to adapt a little bit
Yeah.
is strange. On the other hand, everybody had the same playing field. You know, nobody.
Yeah, it's not like some people were allowed to change it and stuff. But
Exactly.
I don't like the way this is handled, because it's, again,
Yeah.
it might have also invited a little bit more a racy race
Well,
in a
yeah,
way.
and you could have pushed it by 15 minutes.
Yeah,
you
if
know,
you're like,
it's not
listen,
the
you
end
guys
of
have 10 minutes to make that decision. Boom.
especially if you're already cutting 8 laps.
Exactly. So
You
do
have
save
time
So if
to,
you
like,
think
push
about
it
it,
a little
how long
bit.
is one lap? Over like a minute. So you cutting 8. So you give people like 10, 12 minutes
Yeah.
to figure it out. I'm pretty sure they could have done it,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But, so real quick about the sprint race.
Oh, sure. I don't know what you want to talk about.
I just wanted to say, so Mark ended up getting his first win of the season.
Oh, yes.
He has now tied with Jorge Martin for the most amount of sprint wins
Interesting.
ever.
Yeah.
Because like Jorge Martin obviously was known as the King of Saturdays in
Yes.
2024. Definitely how he won the championship.
Yeah.
So Mark ended up winning the first sprint race of the season. It was then we have DG in second and Jorge Martin in third,
Yes.
ahead of Besecchi. I'm so sorry. I fell in my old ways. I thought someone was gonna come in.
Smack you.
And then we had Ayogura in fifth.
Yeah.
But really, really awesome. The sprint qualifying results were absolutely mental, with John Zarco in first.
Yes.
Then it was Mark, and then it was Toprak, right?
Yes, it was like,
It was a
here, let me open.
Q2, I think it is.
Is it Q2?
Yeah, I think it is Q2.
Here. Nope. I don't know what results you had looked at, to be fair.
Hang on. I don't know. I texted it to you.
No, I remember you texting it, but I wanted to point out, which I just realized looking at the result. So on Saturday for the sprint race, we had a Spanish sandwiching in Italian in the middle.
Yeah.
And then for the main Grand Prix race, we had an Italian
Medium.
sandwich with a Spaniard in the middle. So
Nice.
switched things. Of course, Bez ended up winning the main race by over 3 seconds. I mean, he had an excellent start, got away from the beginning, and he
then-
just rode his own race.
Yeah, and then he was like, I'm Aprilia 2000.
And then like we said, we had a great racing towards the end between DG and Marquez, and it sounded like DG got a little bit of like payback, quote unquote, for the day before, because Mark had snatched away the win from the sprint race. But okay, so let's get into this. We had talked about it also off camera or off pod or whatever, that we
Off mic.
whatever.
I don't know.
You guys get what I'm saying. But like, they're talking about the commentary.
Yeah,
Like,
which is a bummer, because we've been very positive about them.
Yes, but I don't think it's like a new thing that that this is happening, and we'll say in a second what it is. But it's just something I feel like I've become so much more aware of this season, because it happens throughout all the different racing leagues. We noticed it in Formula One. We also noticed it in Supercross.
Yeah.
I wonder, and I'm pretty sure that's maybe what it is, that it's like an American style commentary,
Yes.
or catered to an American audience.
It is, yes.
Because so what we're talking about is like there's so much hyperbole.
And so much hyper sensationalizing.
Yeah, it's a lot of sensationalizing, and also you made a good point about they're like all these stats that they come up with to like highlight something that is
That don't mean anything.
relatively seen. If you compare to thing, it's like it's okay.
So,
Like,
for example, one thing that I'm upset about, and like people who have listened to this and stuff like that, is like I'm a huge fan of Marco Bezzecchi, right?
yeah, yes,
And
100%.
I'm 100% for him being a title contender and all this
Yes,
stuff, right?
100%.
But the commentator just being like, well, he's won 100% of all of the races this year, and it's like,
The
dude, it's a
second
second
race.
race. Like, what does that even mean? You know?
Yes,
It's just like it's this way, and I think I feel maybe a little bit more jaded about it because I do try to. I am like on Reddit because sometimes you do get good information from
Yes.
it. Reddit is not only trash,
Yeah.
right, or bad stuff. It is also sometimes people posting really good things,
Yeah.
but it is constantly this thing. It's like of like people either posting random data, because the thing about it is also like it is all from a perspective, right? So then it's like, well, this person in the last 3 years has won the most of this,
Yeah.
and it's like, but in the grand scheme of what, you know,
Yes.
it's like
No.
a lot of it is just like framing stats to make some person look better than the other.
It's not that the numbers necessarily are wrong, that
Yeah,
they're, but
correct.
it's the way that they're presenting it
Yes.
in that framework, or how they're
Mm-hmm.
highlighting those numbers. But then in like the grand scheme or comparatively,
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't carry as much weight as it's being put onto it.
Yeah,
You know?
I have later something to gonna mention about the one race that I also watched that also kind of falls into this, but it is sometimes it is like, guys, like, can we focus on like actually like.
Just facts.
Yeah,
Just
I get that
state-
that he's won 100% of the races.
Yes,
That
yes,
is a
yes.
fact, right?
Yeah, no,
but
you're right.
presenting it in a way that it makes it seem like, oh my God, it is
This is groundbreaking.
Well, or it is this thing you're presenting it in a way. It's like, so this means that he will win the championship
Yes.
now, right?
Yeah. And I mean, we're not saying that Bez hasn't had an excellent start, of course, to the season.
And
He-
to last season,
and
we're not arguing that,
exactly,
right? Mm-hmm.
continuing essentially his run, which is great. He's breaking records for Aprilia, which is
Yeah.
also not. We're not trying to minimize any
No,
of his accomplishments because we are big fans.
Yeah.
And we were watching the race earlier. I was, as much as I'm a Marc Marquez girl,
Mm-hmm.
I would be so excited for Bez to win it because I like him.
No,
You know?
I'm so down for
And-
having like a great championship fight between
Yes.
Bez, seeing Jorge Martin back up there, and really like I am so happy to see him
Yes.
back up there and also fighting because it
Yes.
seems like he's really adjusted to the bike and stuff
Yeah.
like that. A fight with Marc Marquez, maybe we can get some Pedro Acosta action. In
Yeah,
there.
I mean, or
would
even
l-
Dici is now part of the action, which would be exciting. But also, like we've been saying, it's a second race into the season. So
Yeah.
there's so much more that's going to happen.
or like the commentating also like it's 5 laps into, and then it's like, well, Marc Marquez doesn't know what he's gonna be doing, right? It's like, bro, we have like we're not even halfway through the race,
Yes.
and you're
Or-
making it seem like he's about to like retire.
Lose. And then on the other hand, 5 laps in, they're like, oh, yeah, Bez is going to take this. I'm like, have you watched a MotoGP race? Anything can happen at any point.
Yeah.
And then now that I know that the track was shit or
Mm-hmm.
like falling apart, like even more, I'm surprised that not more things have happened.
Yes.
During the race, because we had, I think, 4 crashes we had. We had Jack Miller, Brad Binder, Pecco, and Joan Mir.
Yeah.
They all crashed out
Yeah.
due to luckily nothing crazy it seemed to have happened.
It's all bottom side. I think it
Yes.
was all the same corner though.
It looked like it, or like a
And I want to say I don't know if this was because of
Yeah.
the track conditions or if this is like because like in Sachsenring, right?
Yeah.
You have that one corner where everyone tends to bowl
Yes,
out, or a lot of people tend to bowl out.
Yeah.
But it's just sometimes I think because of also the amount that
Yeah.
we watch, because we do try to watch a fair amount. We also try to watch a lot of different things.
diversified.
Yes, but it does seem, I think in Supercross you sometimes get it too, and it's like, bro, like just become the president of this dude's fan club.
Yes.
It's sometimes I'm like pump the brakes, dude.
Yeah,
This
no.
is not the be on.
It's like, are you bought?
Yeah,
are you?
It's like, is this propaganda?
It gets a little bit annoying, but I want to end it on a higher note.
Mm-hmm.
For MotoGP, one other thing that I wanted to point out, there was this gorgeous overtake from Jorge Martin. The way he got into second
fucking
place, he passed DG and Mark at the same time by going inside of them, and it was so beautiful because they
Yes.
were battling each other. He was waiting behind. He saw the opening, and it was maybe a little. No, it wasn't that aggressive because there was lots of space there. there was more aggression between Mark and DG, but like safe. But it was oh my gosh, there was like some beautiful shots, and also in the replays that they showed when they were leaning into the corner, almost touching, if not maybe DG touching the bike a little
there was definitely
bit.
contact. Yeah.
But I was like, it looked so cool.
Yeah, it reminded
So
me, we had that in
cool.
the last F1 race. There was a double overtake.
Yes.
I just can't remember right now who did it. But do you want to tell us real quick how the top 5?
For the end of the race?
Yeah, main race, because we only talked about sprint so far.
Sure, yeah. I mean, so we had, of course, Bez taking the win. Congratulations to him. Like I mentioned, we have the sandwich. So we have Jorge Martin in second. DG came in third. Marc Marquez in fourth. And then I Ogura in fifth. So excited. I'm also very excited for Diogo Moreira. He ended up being his first. I mean, it's the first race in Brazil in 22 years. And immediately you have a Brazilian rider there. It's rookie first season. And then for the main race, he ended up getting into the points. For the sprint race, he had just missed it. But for the main race, he ended up coming in 13th. So he got 3 points, which is, of course, excellent. And I'm very excited for him because I'm sure there's just it's extra special to race at home, but it's also a little bit of extra pressure probably that you want to do well at home. And he completed the race, so that's already a huge win. And then he ended up getting 3 points.
Yes, I did also wanted to bring this out. So there is, I think it has been confirmed now that Fermin Aldeguer next year will be racing for VR46.
Oh, interesting. A Spaniard going to VR46.
Yes, but because I think this is more of an agreement also with like Ducati. Because he is currently a Ducati racer, right? So I've been seeing VR targets Aldeguer after Acosta setback as Ducati future becomes clear. Because I guess maybe VR46 wanted Acosta, but but it seems like the main Ducati team is gonna be snatching up Acosta, right?
Interesting.
That he's gonna be replacing Bagnaia because Bagnaia is still struggling. I will say I've been pretty harsh on Bagnaia.
Yeah.
Partially fair.
Yeah.
We are now for the first time this season. This sounds dramatic too.
Yes.
We're getting to like more of like a regular situation, right?
In terms of tracks and stuff
like
that,
right?
So
Because the first
see.
2 were now outliers, right? There were things differently. So now I think hopefully he can maybe pull it together, you know?
I mean, we're going to Austin next. Everybody's familiar with Austin. So that's going to come up next weekend already. So we'll see. And then also, of course, there's high expectations for Mark in Austin because he does really well there, or he has done well there in the past. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. As of right now, the order overall in the Rider Championship has changed a little bit. We have Bez overall leading now.
Yeah.
Jorge Martin is now second. Pedro Acosta, who came into this race weekend leading, is now third, which is, I mean, like...
it's the second race
It's like,
of the season,
yeah,
you know?
exactly. It doesn't mean that much quite yet.
Real quick, but it does look like we might have a shorter season with them as well, right?
Oh, yes.
Because 2 races were also canceled. Is it 2 races?
I don't know if they
Or is it
were
1 race?
canceled.
Or potentially, because Qatar is at the end of the year, right?
They move things around.
They move things around.
They move things around to create some space
to hopefully
hold the races. I forgot. I had read about it that they moved like Qatar. They moved that around and they adjusted some of the other races accordingly a little bit just to give them opportunities to race there. Because of course, as we know, for Formula One, 2 races in April are now canceled.
Yes,
because
we have a
of
huge gap.
the situation happening.
I have some interesting news about that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. I did wanted to say about the Fermin Aldeguer thing. So it sounds like, to me, what I've read is that Gresini might not be a Ducati bike next year. That they might no longer will have Ducati, and then other people are like, well, who are they gonna get the bike from? So there's talks maybe Honda, potentially Aprilia, who knows? But it sounds like to me, and please correct me in the comments, that
Yeah.
that Ferman Aldeguer also has like a contract with Ducati, or to be a Ducati rider. So he might be, then that's why we are 46, because they are staying with Ducati.
Oh, interesting.
So I think there's all of that happening, but let me know in the comments if you guys have any more information about
I
that.
just think it's so curious because I thought in VR46 they only always had
Italian.
yes. But I mean, it's also that's all we've experienced so far, and I feel like I had heard it in an interview with Vale before that they usually have only Italian riders.
So as far as I'm understanding, is in order for Furman to become VR46,
He has to change citizenship.
Yes, he has to renounce his Spanish. He's Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Spanish citizenship, and he has to become Italian.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, this year they will be taking a close look who's rooting for in the World Cup.
Oh,
Yeah.
copy
And if
that.
they
Makes
see
sense.
him with a Spanish jersey or anything like that, they're gonna get him. Is Italy even part of the World Cup? I mean, so many countries. I think this time around they made
I would
it.
imagine so. Yeah.
Anyways, I think this brings us to the end of MotoGP.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like we said, it was a fine weekend. I'm looking forward to Austin next weekend.
Yeah, it's cool that we finally we have back-to-back situations.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
we're gonna get a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
But you've watched some more two-wheel race action.